car, like I said in the last video, we acquired not long ago. Was kind of always a bucket list car for me. This car came out in 2003. It's the year I graduated high school. Always wanted one. So this car actually belonged to a gentleman I work with who wanted the new GR Corolla. Instead of him trading it in, I just bought it from him, and it's a pretty period correct build for, let's say, 2008 or 9. I'll show you. It's got a rod piston motor in it, stock stroke 2-liter. It's got coil on plug. It's very simple stuff. FP cast manifold, FP HTA 71. We just put a set of 1500cc Dworks injectors. It's got an ETS intercooler kit, torque solution motor mounts. It's got the new Dworks 420 liter per hour in-tank pump, which is badass. It's got a 3-inch non-catted full exhaust on it, tuned on the factory PCM on E85. It's just real simple Evo stuff. It's got a nice set of Advan wheels on it. Nothing crazy. This car made a little over 450 horsepower and real close to the same torque number on a hub dyno on 28 pounds. On the street, it's making a little bit more than that. It's making high 30s. It'll spike high 30s, holding about 32 psi. The car, to me, is about as perfect as you can get for a street Evo. I feel like any more power, it'd be too laggy and it would probably start breaking parts. It's literally perfect. It spools fast. It pulls all the way to 7,800 RPMs, no problem. It does have the BC 272 cams and valve train in it. And it's just a really fun car to drive. I feel like a car like this in 2007, 2008 would have been a force on the street. Even today, stoplight to stoplight, this car is a blast. So, you know, that's one cool thing with me. I have so many different cars. And so we haven't actually done any content on this. So we're going to go out, we're going to show you the things I like, show you the things I don't like, and kind of show you the power mix. Yeah, man, the interior of this thing is as it really would have been from 2003. I mean, it's got some aftermarket gauges here, but this was actually a factory option gauge cluster from Mitsubishi. Other than that, it's pretty stock in the inside. This is the stock Momo steering wheel they came with. They're leather wrapped. It's a real sturdy steering wheel. I like that feel. And a really cool thing about the Evo is they had a factory intercooler sprayer. So you could literally spray the intercooler with water to cool the intake air charge down, which I always thought was such a cool deal. It's kind of gimmicky, but you know, Mitsubishi in this time frame, they were kind of gimmicky. You know, the 3000 GT, they had active aerodynamics and all-wheel steering and active exhaust. It's just kind of what Mitsubishi did back then. It made it kind of neat, you know, separated it. And I know this is an Evo 8. It does have the Evo 9 front bumper on it. That's really the only thing I wish this car had. I believe it started in the Evo 9s, but on the dash cluster up there, they have a little tarmac, gravel, and I think snow. It's a terrain select for the LSD. So take this thing for a quick little drive. Just kind of makes the right sound, you know. You think of an Evo or any import car from this era, you want to hear the blow-off valve. At least I do. It's got a tile 50mm blow-off valve on it. It's pretty loud. It's very audible. But the car, for being 20 years old, it's super tight. Suspension bushings are in great shape. Suspension, it's just a very well maintained Evo. I got really lucky when I bought this car, but I just love the way they feel, and these big Brembo brakes, man, they stop really, really good. And with the basic mods done to this car, it has plenty of get up and go. That was 100 miles an hour. So it happens really quick. You know, you push the pedal, this turbo spools almost immediately, and as you can see on the gauge, we're in 4th gear at 60 miles an hour at 3,500 RPM. And you can just roll into it, and it wants to make a lot of boost. So this little turbine, I am sure is way out of its efficiency zone at 35, 38 pounds of boost. That's why it's only holding probably 30, 32 pounds of boost when the air is good. But with that boost spike, the car makes a lot of torque real early and just makes it a really fun driving experience. Ben West, local tuner here, does all my, you know, tuning that's not related to the green Supra. He tuned my 3000 GT, he's tuned this. He'll continue to tune other projects for me. He did a really good job with this car as always, and the car drives like stock and performs flawlessly. This thing's cool.
Feels sturdy.
Oh, dude, it's like, I mean, it is solid. And what's crazy is whatever clutch is in the car, I don't even know. It doesn't like its newfound power we turned it up to, but it's like it's a built-in slipper clutch. You can launch the car, let go of the clutch as fast as you want. It slips it, and by the time the clutch really gets to, you know, grabbing, engaging the flywheel. It's like the perfect amount of slip. It's pretty wild. It's like almost it was meant to be. Super duper fun car. You know, in the 2003 Evos, the Evo 8s, they had a 5-speed transmission. That was one thing I believe in the Evo 9 was offered, or may have been a factory option, was the 6-speed. I know the Evo 9 MR had the 6-speed, and a lot of guys had a problem breaking that trans. I remember when these cars were new, and we'd go out racing on Saturday night with my buddies who had these. You know, once they got to that 5, 6, 7, 800 horsepower range, the factory MR 6-speed gearbox in the Evo 9 didn't like it. So a lot of guys switched back to the 5-speed, which kind of makes sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same case. So if you put an extra gear, everything's got to get a little bit smaller. So they probably made the faceplate of the gears a little bit smaller than the 6-speed, and it just nukes them once you start making big power. So that's one good thing about this car. It does have the factory 5-speed. It is all original, 119,000 miles. Never been out except for a clutch, and it's never been maintained. 4th gear has a slight grind at high RPM if you're like really getting on it, but if you're nice to it and you just give it a second, it'll go right into gear. So other than that, it's been a really awesome car.
You got any future plans for it?
As it sits right now, we're going to keep the car where it sits. We have so many, obviously, other projects going. The car is just really good right now. So once I get a few other things going, we may change it. Or, you know, if something silly happens and we hurt the motor, then we'll be forced to change it. But no, I mean, if I had like the perfect template for this car, it would probably have a BC rotating assembly in it, nice crank rods, put like a little stroker in it, help spool the turbo a little bit, probably a little bit bigger injectors, and try to make 750 out of the car. And I feel like that would be a really awesome power level for it. I just don't know, haven't owned the car or this platform long enough to know, is 750 a headache, or will it live there effortlessly like it does at 500? So that's just something we'll learn, you know. If we do decide to go that route, we'll probably put, you know, like a 62, 66 precision on it, 64, 66. That turbo is a proven badass turbo on this platform. Just like on the STI stuff, these small displacement 4-cylinders, that 62 and 64, 66 turbo is magical. A lot of the guys can make north of 700 horsepower out of it. So if I foresee me changing anything, we'd freshen up the motor and probably move up in turbine a little bit. But as it sits right now, I mean, it's just so much power on demand. I love how it's still got the factory little Mitsubishi key fob with it. It's all original. The only thing I really don't have with the car is the owner's or the window sticker. I think, yeah, it's still got all the factory Mitsubishi Motors paperwork with it. Yeah, I'm a weirdo about this stuff. I love seeing all the original documentation with this car. I got this with all my 3000 GT stuff, but I'm really anxious to see, you know, this is my first Evo, and I just acquired that STI. You know, Sean's building the STI at Misfire Motorsports for me. That car's gonna be very, very fast. It'll make 700, 800, 900 horsepower if we pushed it that far with the best of the best parts. This car won't be there, but I'm a Mitsubishi guy at heart. That was really my first love, was the 3000 GT. So it's really cool for me to have both of them now. So I'll be able to kind of compare my own comparisons of the things I don't like and the things I do like about each car. Take the horsepower out of it, you know. The one thing I wish this car had a little bit better is I wish the gauge cluster was a little larger. The speedometer is very small numbers. I just feel like it's a little off proportioned. And other than that, man, there's not a lot I would change on the car. That's really my only complaint. I know that's a very picky, little nitpicky thing. On the 3000 GT, it's a lot larger, the numbers are bigger, and it's a brighter dash cluster. The STI, obviously, it's a little brighter, it's a little more modern than the Evo. You know, it's just little things like that. Yeah, we'll do once we get into town, I'll launch it. It feels good under two-step.
That thing sounds sick.
I had to try the Paul Walker thing. I was going to try to go backwards and like turn it around, but I didn't figure that would end too well. Did it look good when it took off?
Yeah.
And I had just a little bit of wheel spin. It was like,
Launch is hard.
yeah, it felt really good inside the car. That was probably the best launch this car's ever done. I got off the clutch pretty aggressively. Feels good.
Pulls hard.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The clutch slips the right amount. Like it, you couldn't. I don't know. It's literally like a slipper clutch that's not a slipper clutch.
It was so fun.
Oh, it's so fun. Yeah, this, I'm telling you, man, this car is perfect right now. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the ride along today in my 2003 500 horsepower Lancer. This car is just, it absolutely rocks. I know it's hard to feel and depict what the car's doing on that side of the screen when you're not in the car, but let me tell you, if you ever get a chance to drive one of these cars, to experience an all-wheel drive, small displacement motor that revs 7, 8, 9,000 RPM, makes 30 plus pounds of boost with a manual transmission, go experience it. It's an awesome, awesome experience. This car just checks so many boxes. To me, it looks good. You don't see a lot of them. They're rare. It's four-door. I can put the kids in the back seat. I can catch someone slipping on the highway, still win a race, catch them at a stoplight. I know I'm going to win a race. And it's been rock solid. I've put 4,000 or 5,000 miles of really hard abuse in this car so far. I've done, you know, religious oil changes in it and think you put plugs in it and all that, but this car's been rock solid. It's got 119,000 miles on it. I'm really excited to see where this car will go from here. Like I said earlier, I don't really want to change a lot. In the event something happens, I'm sure I'll upgrade it, but it's perfect right now. So if you guys get out there, you get a chance to drive one of these cars, go do it. I hope you guys enjoy this episode.